Haley, that is such a good point. People don't even realize that.
Come on, you knew that. You set me up for that.
Which, yes, Karla already threw me under the bus.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. We are so grateful that you are all listening. We just want to take a moment and thank our listeners for being here. Remind you to please subscribe wherever you are listening today so that you don't miss an episode and you get a notification as soon as they drop. We have been having so much fun getting to know our listeners in our online communities, and we hope that we will see you in one of those, either in our Instagram or in our Facebook group at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast, so you can interact with us, get to know us, and continue the conversations that we have each week. Be sure you're also sharing this podcast with your friends because we always need more friends. Today's topic is Disney Deluxe Resorts. I am joined by Karla and Haley, and we are going to be talking about breaking down and really digging into the experience that is Deluxe Disney. Hey, girls.
Let's get bougie.
It's no secret, we've talked a lot about deluxe stays at Disney World, especially when we are in our sleepy segment on pretty much every episode. And while we do discuss all of the resorts and how they pertain to the topic of the day, there is something very, very special about these resorts we're going to mention today. For those of you that don't know, Disney has 3 resort categories: the values, the moderates, and the deluxe/villas. And we're going to be covering all of them right here on this podcast. But today we are taking the time to specifically focus on deluxe resorts, stays, locations, everything you can imagine when it comes to Disney Deluxe. So girls, first, I want to just say, welcome home.
That's my favorite part of every deluxe resort. When you enter in and all of those cast members say, welcome home, Deluxe has that bigger feeling of, wow, I'm really home for however long I'm here on this trip.
I totally agree. And that's just playing off of our last episode about the Disney bubble. And, it's just bringing it all together. You go under those signs, you park at your resort or you pull up in the shuttle and those doors open and you step on that carpet and you see that first view of your lobby and it's like all those senses hit you, that smell, the sight, the sounds. It's amazing.
It really is. And while it's important to note that all of the Disney resorts are wonderful, the specifics that make Disney Deluxe resorts stand out they're just it's just different. It's a different experience and vibe. You mentioned, Karla, when you walk through those double doors, you see the lobby. I'm not talking, oh, we've arrived, we're at Disney World and this is so fun. I'm talking your jaw hits the floor and whatever is in front of you, whichever deluxe resort you are staying at, it is a masterpiece in front of you. So I'm talking the Polynesian. You walk in and you see that mascot, the mascot guy that is all over the Polynesian resort, and he's there, and there's Hawaiian flowers, but straight through is what?
The castle.
Hello, right there. It doesn't get more magical. You walk in, beautiful, beautiful lobby, and straight through is the castle. And these are the types of experiences that you are going to get. Now, that is the only lobby you're going to walk in and see the castle, but they all have something so wow factor about them.
So there is no secret that Animal Kingdom Lodge is absolutely my favorite. And when I walk in those doors, that wow factor is absolutely there. From the glass chandeliers to the African accents that you see everywhere. And it doesn't matter whether you are at Kidani, which is more of the village one, or Jambo, which is the main lodge for Animal Kingdom Lodge. You walk straight into that lobby, you see all of these accents, and then the first thing you see is the animals out in that whole big safari area. So it doesn't matter, I feel like, which deluxe resort you stay at. They each, like you were saying, have that insane wow factor when you walk in of, my money is really being spent in a good place. I feel like if you've never walked into a Deluxe before, that thought of like, well, am I really spending the money on the right thing here, kind of sits in your head. But once you walk into those doors and feel how different it is from all of the other, now I have my favorite values and my favorite moderates too, but just that feeling of walking in a Deluxe resort there's nothing like it.
I totally agree, Haley. And I'm sure, like, I feel like all three of us have that one resort that's in our mind, right? And playing off I know yours, Allie, is going to always be the Poly. I feel like when you actually just get out of your car at the Poly, so you're in the valet area, it starts there because the Polynesian is like no other resort on the exterior. It's just as great on the exterior as it is on the interior. I was there a couple weeks ago, and I was waiting for like my sister to pull up the car or something. I was sitting on one of the benches that are kind of around that area, and there's like water flowing. The tikis are lit. Again, it's hitting on all those senses that we always talk about. But then going forward now to my favorite resort, aesthetically, is going to be Wilderness Lodge. Don't get it confused with Fort Wilderness.
No.
We will teach you the ways. Okay, so Wilderness Lodge, I have a thing for the mountains. Like, that's where my heart is. Pulling up there, you definitely don't think that you're in Central Florida. You think that you're somewhere in the mountains, tucked away, that Disney isn't right down the street, but it is. The doors open up there, and this to me in my head is like undoubtedly the most beautiful lobby. The ceiling's high. You can see the rooms around the lobby. There's a fireplace. There's a waterfall. It's literally hitting like all of those amazing things that you want to see when you are at a Deluxe resort.
That's exactly it. And I do love the Wilderness Lodge. It's actually the only Deluxe resort left on my list to stay in, and I'm going to be hitting it this year. So I'm super excited about that. I hear all of the time people say, well, we're going to spend all of our time in the parks. You know, we're going to rope drop and we're going to shut down the park, and there's no reason for us to put the extra money into our resort. And
lies.
Exactly. I couldn't disagree more in most cases. And I also think it's important to realize that as we're talking about these resorts, you know, Karla, I hear you say, Allie, I know you love the Polynesian, which is so true. Listeners know that by now. Friends obviously know that about me. And I feel like there are probably listeners that are thinking, that's so unattainable. I can't stay there. It's too expensive. It's too out of reach. And I think that mentality feels impossible to shift, but it is possible. You know, these resorts are attainable. There are ways to do it. And we'll discuss some of those ways, of course. But what's also equally wonderful about all of these Deluxe resorts is I feel like I'm getting 2 vacations in one with most of them. So the parks are noisy and crowded and colorful, and they are 100% sensory overload. It's overwhelming. Now, I'm not trying to deter from how wonderful the parks are. Clearly, I love the parks. But those long days, rope drop to shutdown, they're long, they're hard, and you're exhausted. There is something to be said for going back to your resort and having serenity or a completely opposite experience from what you experienced all day in the parks.
Totally agree. So a lot of these, the beach club, the Poly, amazing pools. So you can spend easily a day, 2 days. I'm sure we've all done it before, right? Just at the pool. Like, I don't even take me to the park. I need a pool pass. I'm going to the pool. I'm getting my chair. I'm getting my cocktail, and I am laying there, and you can just, wake me up when it's over type thing. But also, I was just at the Riviera last weekend. We had dinner at Topolino's. I wish I could stay there. I haven't stayed there yet. There is this amazing lawn, and at the lawn we were playing there were like life-size chessboards that my son and husband were playing. The French music is playing outside, the lights are on. It just sets this mood of like peacefulness. And I think that you mentioned how colorful and like sensory overload the parks can be. It's the exact opposite of the resorts. Disney does such an amazing job with the theming at these Deluxe resorts the Mickeys, the Walt Disney, and all that stuff. But it's not going to be your over the top, like in your face Disney theming, right?
Right. That's exactly it. And that's what I love about it. So the two biggest common misconceptions that just make my insides hurt are, number one, it's unattainable, because like I said, I don't think that's true. And number two, this is a big one. When families will say, well, I want my kids to enjoy the resort. I want it to be fun for the kids. The kids, the kids, the kids. And I get that mentality. We're going to Disney World for our kids. And believe me, I'm doing plenty of Disney World trips for my kids. Now, is it amazing to have life-size Disney sculptures? Of course. Is it necessary for your kids to have a great time? Absolutely not. Big misconception.
Well, not only that, but they're going to have a good time anyways. You're just going to soak up that relaxation factor and that like luxe feel after your 27 hours in the parks that day.
Yeah, I always say the trip is for the kids. The food can be for the kids. The parks are for the kids, all of it. The resort can be for you, and your kids will still have as much fun. And that is the mentality that has to be realized, I think, more than anything else when it comes to staying deluxe. These pools are by far the most fun on property. Can you swim everywhere? Of course. Are you going to have a leveled up swim experience in these deluxe properties? Yes.
I just want to take a minute to just say that if we Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast ever have a shirt, it should say the parks are for the kids and the resorts are for mom.
Yes. 1000%. This is the way it is. I talk a lot about the balcony. I don't think a lot of people realize that if you like a balcony, if you like having that outdoor space to relax, to be separated from your kids who have been overstimulated for 17 million hours, those are only at deluxe resorts. You're not getting that experience in your resort room if you're not staying deluxe.
Haley, what do you know about a balcony over there at Animal Kingdom Lodge?
Oh my gosh. I was about to totally interject and say that. So staying at Animal Kingdom is obviously the best with the Savannah view. It is still amazing if you don't do the Savannah view. So don't let that deter you. But my favorite, every single morning, my husband and I went on our 1-year anniversary trip, stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Savannah View. It was his first time ever staying there. And let me just tell you, the resorts are not only for the moms, they are for the husbands that doubt Disney. Take them to a deluxe resort and you will win them over in 2 seconds. Waking up every morning and opening those windows, and we literally had a giraffe that was fed right outside our balcony. And I swear every morning this giraffe put his head in the truck that they were feeding out of, and he would follow them like from the corner of the resort. So yes, we walked a mile to our room, totally worth it, but we walked a mile. So we were almost pretty close to the end. You would see the truck come out to feed them, and you just see the giraffe follow and keep trying to stick his head in the truck. And then you have the sunrise coming up before your park day, whether it's like a late start or an early morning. But just that environment of that balcony, I even sat out there and worked for a little bit and helped a few clients. And of course, full circle moment there. But Animal Kingdom was also the first resort my parents ever took me to when I went on my first trip with my daughter. It was even more of a full circle moment, but those balconies are incredible. And on that same trip, we actually did a late start to Magic Kingdom, started at Contemporary with Steakhouse 71, right? Mimosas, rode the monorail around to those deluxe resorts right there. So the monorail also is only for deluxe resorts. Like you can't stay on the monorail and be at another tier. So that's a fancy fact about deluxe resorts too. If you love the monorail, it's great. Even if you're not, I suggest doing the little, just the track around to seeing these resorts. So of course we explored all of the spots that Contemporary have. We went over to Poly, explored all of that. Of course, I got a Dole Whip because I have to, and then went on to Grand Floridian. And there is such a hidden gem in Grand Floridian that I will talk about when we get down into our segments, because everybody just needs to know about it.
I'm interested to see what you're going to say.
Yeah. I like what you were just saying there, though, about the monorail, because I don't know that everybody knows what the monorail is, But not everybody realizes that it is solely deluxe resorts that are along that line. Let's talk a little bit about what these resorts are. So you just mentioned the monorail resorts that are deluxe are Contemporary, which is also connected to Bay Lake Tower, the villas there, the Polynesian Resort and Villas, the Grand Floridian Resort and Villas. Then in the Magic Kingdom area, you also have Karla's favorite, Wilderness Lodge, and that also has 2 villa segments. And interestingly enough, I have found that Wilderness Lodge can be one of the most affordable deluxe resorts. Not the most affordable, but certainly the most affordable in the Magic Kingdom area. And so that's a fun fact about that one as well. And it's stunning. Then we talked a lot on our transportation episode about the Skyliner. The Riviera that we have already mentioned on this episode is on the Skyliner. So that's wonderful. The Boardwalk area, which is my personal favorite area on Disney property inside the bubble, that's going to have Yacht and Beach Club, the Beach Club Villas, and the Boardwalk Inn and Villas. You have Haley's favorite, Animal Kingdom Lodge. And then, of course, Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, which are full of villas. Also deluxe, kind of on the outskirts, closer to Disney Springs. So there are 10 different resorts and villa combinations on property. And among those 10, you have a wide range of budget, a humongous range of theming, and tons of different room styles that you can pick from. Studios, regular rooms, standard, different views, suites, villas, tree houses, cabins, bungalows. I mean, you hear deluxe and you get really scared, but every deluxe experience is not a Polynesian bungalow. You know, that's the top of the top. That's not the experience as a whole when you look at all 10 of these resorts. So we're going to talk a lot more about what these resorts offer, why it is more than just a place to lay your head, because that is the mentality that so many families, when planning a vacation, and they're a little scared of the budget factor, they think, well, I just need a place to lay my head. And while that is true, there are ways that Disney Deluxe Stays can pay you back, and it's all about experience. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hit our segment. Hey, Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast listeners. Have you joined our online communities yet? You can find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast, where we're connecting daily with listeners, answering questions, and sharing our favorite Disney memories. Joining one of our communities, especially on Facebook, is like pulling up your own chair and joining the conversation yourself. Why let Tuesday be the only day you hear from us? Come join us to continue episode conversations, or maybe even tell us if you disagree with something we've said. We're planning trips, offering tips, and ready for you to pull up your chair. So follow the links in our show notes and join us at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast on Facebook and on Instagram. Welcome back, everyone. We are talking deluxe Disney stays, deluxe resorts today, diving deep into what it means to experience a Disney vacation while staying in one of these 10 resort and villa properties. I want to start today somewhere different than we normally do. I want to start with Sleepy because we're talking about resorts. I want to dive a little bit into what it means to sleep in one of these resorts.
It's nice. Oh my gosh, you guys, everything, like I mentioned before, everything is just so top notch from the minute you walk in to the point where you open your door to your room and you step foot. And it's like, honestly, once you stay deluxe, you'll never go back to anything else. You can't. I just think like the linens, the beds are comfortable, the bathrooms, the H2O products. I know that they're going to discontinue those soon, but we're going to live it up while we can. It's just all so well done. And again, Disney touching on those subtle themes. So at the Polynesian, we have Moana rooms, right? And you're thinking, how could they make Moana luxe or nice? But somehow they did it, right?
Oh, yeah. And you do feel it. You feel Disney. And the Grand Floridian, it has touches of Mary Poppins. And the Contemporary has the Incredibles themed rooms. And one that's a bit of a hidden gem that I think a lot of people don't realize, Saratoga Springs Resort has a horse theme. Obviously, if you're familiar with Saratoga Springs, New York, it's horses. But they've taken the Disney horses and and they've themed them throughout the resort. And I just think that's a really fun. And you might think, oh, my kids don't know those. When my kids saw those Disney horses, they were so happy. They just thought it was the coolest, most fun. And I think it was hour when we were out at that pool, they were playing the Derby horses come to your post music. And that was just an added touch of fun. And so those are things, little touches. That's how I like to explain it. It's little touches that make a big impact.
You're talking about Saratoga Springs, which all of us just stayed at recently. I know you briefly mentioned, all the different room type options that these deluxe resorts have. Saratoga Springs is the only place at Disney where you can stay in a treehouse.
And we
I'm
did
talking
it.
a luxe treehouse, you guys. We stayed in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It had a soaking tub. It had, a living room, a full kitchen, a dining room. It had literally everything you needed to live it up while you're at Disney. Not only that, but then we walked outside and we have a view of the river and the boats going by. Just everything about it was perfection. And you would never think to stay in a treehouse at Disney.
Exactly. And it's so fun. It's an incredible experience. And these are the types of things that you don't even know are there if you don't know to look for them.
And over at Riviera too, you guys were talking about, the theming. If you walk through the Riviera lobby and down the stairs, there is actually a bunch of picture frames. And even when you walk just through the halls of the Riviera, there is all Disney history in different languages from the beginning to now of like movie posters and different things like that, which I did not think that I was going to see at the Riviera. So I got in a day early on the trip that we took where we also stayed in the tree houses, and I got to stay in a Riviera room. And it was absolutely amazing. I think I have fallen in love with maybe a second in here for Deluxe. It's hard to top Animal Kingdom for me, but I truly envision going back and staying at Riviera with my kids just because of that rich history that it has with that Disney theming. And I swear sometimes when you can look at all of those and then you get to your room, you open the door, Deluxe smells I feel like are very comforting in a way that it ties into helping you sleep overall at night. Just those smells are so different than I feel like anything else on property, and it's calming and it hits those senses like Karla's talking about, and you sleep better just knowing that you'll smell that again when you wake up.
Totally, I agree. And the 1 to 2 bedroom villas that these deluxe resorts offer, and 3-bedroom, which are harder to book and pretty expensive, those are the price tags I think a lot of people are apprehensive about. The villas have full kitchens, at all of these resorts, if they have a villa. The suites have, some of them do as well. Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, I just want to give a quick shout out to because they are a fine balance. They have the 1 to 2 bedroom villas. They have the full kitchen rooms. They are deluxe. They're spacious and gorgeous. They are close to Disney Springs. So even though they're on the outskirts a bit from the parks, they are close to some Disney bubble action. But the prices are right. These are resorts where you might be a little bit like, oh, Grand Floridian, that can never happen. But you can still stay deluxe lots of ways, and Grand Floridian can happen, just spoiler alert. But there are wide ranges, even with some of these larger rooms, and you're still going to reap all of the benefits that you get as a deluxe guest. So knowing that and knowing Old Key West is the golf resort. Wilderness Lodge is that mountain resort. Animal Kingdom Lodge, you get the Savannah views. All of these resorts are going to have views of the things that they're really claiming for their, theming. And even the standard, a resort view is what it's called, is going to be beautiful. I have a friend staying at the Polynesian right now, and she has a standard view, but she's overlooking the Polynesian resort. It's not torture to look at the tiki torches and palm trees of the Polynesian. So even the lower resort view options are going to be spectacular.
Yeah, Allie. We know you're all about a view. Let's just talk about Sneezy because, listen, if you're staying deluxe, then stay deluxe and upgrade that view to have something to look at. Because sure, at the Polynesian, you might get tiki torches and palm trees, but what if you're at Saratoga Springs and you get a parking lot. Does
You
that
might.
feel deluxe to you?
If I guess that's a good question for Lightning Lane, but I could ask you now. If you had to decide between a standard view or not staying deluxe at all, wouldn't you pick the standard view?
Fine,
Hands down
whatever.
every day.
Fine, whatever.
Every day.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you. If it's possible to upgrade that resort view, obviously, I'm all about it. I'm all about pre-planning. But
Okay, then what's your dopey move?
Dopey Move is thinking it's impossible. Dopey Move is thinking that deluxe is out of reach. It is going to be more money. Yes, staying value is going to save you when it comes to what are you spending to take your Disney vacation. But I said it once already, Disney Deluxe pays you back, right? It has free entertainment a lot of the time. It has a lot of them have hub grasses where your kids are going to run around. Karla, you mentioned the one at Riviera, but there is one at the Grand Floridian. There is one at the Contemporary. There is one at the Polynesian. There is one.
We haven't even talked about the boardwalk.
Exactly. That's what
area at the boardwalk where you watch movies at night and there's normally entertainers like right there and the lights dangling.
Every time my family stays at Boardwalk, and we do stay at Boardwalk, we're walking around the hub grass there and just along the boardwalk itself. My kids have an ice cream from the ice cream parlor there. My wife and I have a drink from Abracadabra. We are enjoying the views of the lagoon. We might be seeing Epcot fireworks, and my kids are being entertained by the street performers. All I think every time, I'm being paid back right now. My time here at Disney World is leveled up and it's all included. I'm not paying any extra for this. And this experience was worth every single bit that I paid.
Oh, yeah. The number one thing I get is, well, we're only going to be in the room to sleep. And I totally understand that. But when you look at it and see that Walt Disney World is so much more, like in the Bubble episode we said, than just the parks. That is, I love everything about the parks, but that is only a fraction of what your Walt Disney World vacation should be. So yes, it is a little bit more expensive. Don't think it's impossible, but also remember, like you said, what you're getting back from that. So you're getting all of these extra experiences, all of these extra perks with the movies, and they have, a bunch of games in some of those hubgrass yards too. They'll have events for the kids all day long. When I walk into a hotel, quote unquote, when I go to like a beach vacation, I'm literally in there to sleep and then go back to the beach. When I'm at Disney, the last thing I want to feel like is I'm going to just another hotel that happens to have the Disney name on it, and then I'm going to just explore the parks. When I step onto that property and into that hotel, Deluxe we've said it 1,000 times already, it's a different experience. And thinking that you're only in the room to sleep, go explore these resorts. They do not cost any more to explore. You do not have to be staying at that specific resort in order to go explore it. Just go tempt yourself next time you are there.
Window
and walk
shop
into a deluxe resort.
Yeah, because for families that think I'm only in the resort to sleep, what about if you have little kids and you need a midday break? What about that time? And if you don't have little kids and you don't need a midday break, what about your older kids? And the pool that they want to experience and the slide and the activities that are going on there.
The Disney bubble. I mean, we're all agents, right? So anytime somebody tells us that, we're always pushing for adding on a day, adding on 2 days. And it's not so that you have an additional day to go to the park again. It's literally so that you can be on vacation, that you're having that vacation within your Disney vacation, right? You're having that time of relaxation, like rehab, repair, all those things that like we need as moms. We need that moment to ourselves. We need that quiet time. It's already so necessary just with all the things that we go through on a daily basis, but it's even more necessary when you're at Disney and you put all this pressure on yourself to make your vacation so perfect and to make sure that your kid entertained and having a great time and to make sure that your husband's not grumpy and that he's having a good time so that when you ask him in a month to go back, he's like, heck yeah. You need to take a deep breath when you get there. And that's again, when you pat yourself on the back and you're like, I made this happen. This is my time. This is my moment.
That's exactly it. My time, my moment. And what you just said there, adding a day to experience your resort, that's a perfect dock strategy. I want to pivot to dock and I want to talk about when you are staying deluxe, the strategies that you can utilize to either make it happen, or if you're not so worried about if you can make it happen, how you can level up the experience. So, one way to level up a deluxe experience is exactly what you just said, Karla, add the days. Be there to be on vacation and be in the moment and be present without the park hustle with your kids.
Totally. And my biggest doc strategy is okay, so 2024 dates just came out. What, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago at this point? So essentially, I can book a vacation for Christmas with my family in 2024. I'm going at, the beginning of December, not the end, but okay, so you get the point. I'm going to Christmas. I want to go all out. I want to get all the Disney feels. I want to get it at Christmas time. I want to feel all of it. And I know it's going to cost a pretty penny. But if I book now, I'm going to have almost a year and a half to be paying on my family's Christmas deluxe vacation for a year and a half. That's a huge deal. It's going to take me $200 deposit to book. I'm going to make that commitment, and then I'm going to have the ability, if I want, to pay over time, which is a huge doc strategy, if you ask me.
That is the doc strategy. That is it right there, because planning early is how deluxe vacations are made. You can think, this is so far off, I can't even think about it. Or you can think, this time will move quickly and I will have planned accordingly. And you say 2024, but you can talk to your Smart Moms agent. We can even talk about ways to bump out even further than 2024. And you can really, really plan for this 18 months or more to think about my Christmas trip, my Halloween trip, whatever it is that you're wanting to take. You're not saying this is how much I'm going to have to spend and I have to pay it by next month. This is a long time. And with Disney's flexibility to move things, there's constant ability for change. And when you do pick your resort early, you have a wider range. Resorts book fast, everyone. They go quickly. I see availability shift hours apart. And so when you book early, you give yourself a longer payment plan. You give yourself the ability to maybe stay in a deluxe resort, which is an upgrade probably from, what you were considering initially. And you give yourself prime pick of the room type and location that you want.
Oh, yeah. A big thing to go on that too is, no secret, we've said it, we're agents. When you book with one of us or another Smart Moms agent, we have the ability to go in and add a promo that might pop up. So you always see like save up to 25% or save up to 35%, whatever Disney decides to throw out there. You're going to save that biggest percentage on those deluxe resorts.
Haley, that is such a good point. People don't even realize that. They don't realize that the up to, you're talking up to deluxe.
Oh, yeah. And that's the biggest factor. Like, I'm a family of 5. Allie, I know you have a big family too. Mine are all, adult prices now because they grow too quick. But whether it's all 5 of us or whether it's my husband and I, we bank on those promos. And even though you don't know booking that year to 18-month or further out, I hear, well, I don't know what the promos are going to be. Let me wait. Don't wait on it.
No.
And know that more than likely, I am never promising, but more than likely Disney's going to come up with some sort of something for someone somewhere. They always tend to.
Yeah. And if you're looking at a save up to 35%, you're right. That 35% is at deluxe, then it's probably going to be 30 or 25% at moderate and then maybe 20 at value. So it's not one promo created equally for all resorts. You're paying more, but you're saving more.
And guess what? You don't have to hound us like when those discounts come out. We know when they come out and the time that they come out. Agents are looking at who's booked at that time and who we can apply those promos with, because we know ultimately how happy our client's going to be. Number one, that they're going to Disney. Number two, that they're staying deluxe. And now that they're getting, those are 3 pretty awesome Ds, if you ask me.
Triple D. I like it. This is like my favorite doc strategy. I like spending a little bit of time here in doc because I think Deluxe is about strategy a little bit, and obtaining it is a little bit about strategy. At the Riviera, does everybody know, and listeners probably don't, that a standard view, which, yes, Karla already threw me under the bus. I am all about the view. Standard view at Riviera can almost be like premium view, because even though you are looking at the parking lot, do you know what's right beyond the parking lot? In the
Ooh, tell
standard
us. Tell
the
us.
standard view at Riviera beyond the parking lot you're looking at is Epcot. And guess what you can see? Epcot fireworks.
I got so excited.
Burger.
Standard.
When we were there on our last trip, we were actually unloading the car. First time at Riviera, so obviously the wow factor was high for me. But we're bringing our luggage in from the car, and I am jumping with joy and standing on the cart. Don't do that, you'll fall. But standing on the cart, because I'm short, to try to see those fireworks. And I got so excited, like a darn little kid, that I was standing in the parking lot of a Deluxe resort watching the fireworks over the trees.
I feel
Yep.
like you should have just hopped on Katie's shoulders.
Oh, that's true.
Katie, by the way, is like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, she really is. So another good strategy to obtain staying deluxe, and I have helped many families do this, I'm sure you all have as well, split stay. Split stay and stay lower priced first. Don't ever go from deluxe to value or moderate. You got to go up to deluxe, end at the best. But take a couple of nights and save a little money, sure, especially if you're going to focus on the parks those days. And I will listen to, it's just a place to lay my head. And then end your vacation 3-4 nights at your deluxe choice.
By laying your head at the pool at the Polynesian.
Exactly. Split stay and save money and experience both. And give your family the park vacation, be the park warrior, only experience your resort for those couple minutes in the morning and evening. And then end your resort stay deluxe actually on vacation. And then one more I want to just discuss, and then we're going to pivot here from Doc. Do you find yourselves wanting to book specific resorts based on the season?
Totally. And I can tell you like exactly what the seasons are. In summertime, I'm staying at the Poly or the Beach Club.
Yep.
In the winter for Christmas, I'm not really like, Grand Floridian is beautiful and gorgeous. It's more of that classic beauty that's not really me, and that's fine. But
I feel
for
the same way.
Christmas time, that's where I'm staying, because there's the infamous gingerbread house with the shingles that you love so much, and the whole lobby there smells like gingerbread, and you really can't beat it. And then you're a walkway or a monorail ride to Magic Kingdom for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yep.
And it's kind of a no-brainer.
Those are mine as well. I am Yacht and Beach Club, which we're going to talk a lot more about here in a moment. I'm Yacht or Beach Club in the summer, Polynesian in the summer.
Oh, I forgot Wilderness Lodge in the winter too.
Wilderness Lodge and Grand Floridian are my go-to winter for the reasons you just said. Also, the Prosecco in the lobby at the Grand Floridian. I mean, hello. That is another level of luxe.
That and the Christmas tree at Wilderness Lodge is amazing.
Yeah, and the quick, easy access, of course, for the Very Merry Party, like you mentioned. I also really love the boardwalk at Christmas time. The decorations there are shockingly beautiful, I think. I was way more in love with them than I anticipated on my recent December trip. It's certainly not Grand Floridian or Wilderness Lodge, but it was lovely. It's nice. And being that close to Epcot for any of the festivals is never a bad choice.
Do you also find yourself, depending on whether you're going with just adults or with kids, picking a specific deluxe resort based on your kids' favorite parks and transportation?
Great question. We like to be near Magic Kingdom because my kids also love Epcot. So if you have the monorail, you've got access to both. When we have our kids, my wife loves the Riviera. That is her jam. That is her go-to. She loves it. And I like it for adult stays a lot.
And I've thought the same thing. Now, granted, thankfully, my kids love animals, so it's easy to sell them, well, you got to ride the bus. But staying at those closer resorts, especially for means of stroller access and things, the monorail, you don't have to break the stroller down on. So that's way easier getting, like you said, out of Magic Kingdom and Epcot. So that's always super helpful too when thinking about these is, your means of, well, is it just me and an adult, or is it me and the kids? Because it truly can even make your vacation with kids easier.
For sure. And in addition to Riviera for adult stays, I think anything that's going to have good access to nightlife is great for adult stays. So you're looking at Boardwalk, Beach Club, and Yacht Club to be in that boardwalk area. You have dueling pianos and the dance hall, things like that. The nightlife is great. Abracadabra, I've mentioned already once. It's fantastic. Drinks are delicious. So there's a lot going on over there. And then Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, especially because Saratoga is just a walk over to Disney Springs. You can walk over to the boathouse. Truffle fries are a walk away. And then, Karla, I know you love Hang Bar. So there are things going on there that if you're on an adult trip, I would not count Saratoga Springs out because it is bus only, but buses are a lot easier when you don't have kids. Okay, I think we have to now pivot to happy. Obviously, everything we've been discussing are things about staying deluxe that make us happy. However, there are specifically some perks, privileges, things that you may not realize that staying deluxe will give you that make us super happy. Number one, not the reason. One of the biggest reasons, deluxe after hours.
Oh my gosh, they are the best. So imagine riding Mine Train with like 10 other people at 1 a.m.
That's what it is. So for deluxe resort guests only, Disney currently offers 2 times a week what is called deluxe after hours. And they are happening more often than not. Mondays, Epcot, and Wednesdays, Magic Kingdom. We have all done both of those. There were select times last year during the 50th where Hollywood Studios was included. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe this summer or as we get into the 100th that we'll see some other parks included. But right now we can pretty much routinely count on Epcot and Magic Kingdom. You get empty parks, empty line ride queues, extra virtual queues for Guardians of the Galaxy and Tron.
So you know how I don't know if you guys in the big group, when it comes around to like Mickey's Not So Scary and the Very Merry Christmas Party, everybody's always like, hey, the price is a little much. Like, is it worth it? Am I going to get to ride all my rides? When you go to those special ticketed after hours events, Mickey's Not So Scary, you really shouldn't be there to ride the rides because really you're there for the parades and all those extra show and all those extra things that make it what those parties are. This is for the people that are looking to maximize the rides, right? They want to be able to walk right on to Space Mountain Alley and they want to maybe get the elevator at the Haunted Mansion all to themselves and be able to have their own dune buggy. Like, this is the time that you get to do that. There is no other time. It doesn't matter like what event it is. There is no other time where you are going to have empty parks like you are going to have for these extra evening hours.
And they do not cost extra money. When you're a deluxe resort guest, these are included. It's part of your experience. For the park warriors, the people that are just laying their head down at their resort, imagine sleeping in. Imagine not going to the park until 1 p.m. and spending the morning eating a delicious breakfast at the table service restaurant that is more than likely at your resort, and then hitting the pool for a little while, and then getting to the park, midday or midday to late day, and then staying in 1 a.m. and still feeling like you had a full park day and still riding all of the headliners, but also getting some amazing resort time in.
My husband and I did that when we went back for our anniversary trip. We slept in, we enjoyed that balcony, and then we stopped, had brunch, and just meandered to the park. And when we walked into Magic Kingdom, the parade was about to come down. So, of course, I grabbed a Starbucks. I sat on the edge. The parade came through, and then we were at the park for still a full day, but we got to end it when no one was there. I got to sit my little self in the middle of Main Street on those railroad tracks that go through, well, not the railroad tracks, but the tracks that go through the center. Nobody is behind me. The castle is lit up. Main Street is lit up. There's nobody there. And then the thought of walking in when everyone is walking out whether it's Epcot or Magic Kingdom, is the best. And walking to Guardians when
You-
everybody else is leaving the park.
Yeah, you can get to one of these parks, Epcot or Magic Kingdom specifically, at 2 p.m. and still have 9 to 11 hours, depending on the time of year. That will dictate how late the park is open. For extended hours, it's 2 hours beyond park close, for reference. So you could still have 9 to 11 hours in the park starting that late. If you're somebody that's like, oh no, I could never sleep in, I've got to get there right away. Well, get there right away, stay until 11. Go back to your deluxe resort, enjoy your deluxe amenities. They have kids clubs at many of these resorts where there are crafts and games and things going on. You're not getting that at value or moderate. Enjoy the pool slide, which moderate and deluxe resorts do have pool slides, but I will say they are bigger, better, and faster at deluxe resorts. I know from experience, I've slid down almost every single one of them. Enjoy that for the entire midday and go back to the park at 4 or 5 p.m.
A big happy for me, even with all of those perks, is like you said. So you have those extended hours, and some of those top tier resort restaurants are at deluxe resorts too. So it
Oh,
makes
gosh,
it,
yes.
yeah, super easy to pop over like Beach Club and Yacht Club. There's really good restaurants there. There's Cape May, and then there's also Ale and Compass, which I got to eat at. And they're both so good for that late morning start.
How about character meals? Now you can eat at these even if you're not staying at these resorts. But what if there was a character meal, one monorail stop away or right down the hall? You have Ohana breakfast at the Polynesian, Topolino's at the Riviera, Cape May, which you just mentioned, over at the Yacht and Beach Club, Chef Mickey, which is so coveted as a Mickey meal, right at the Contemporary. Here is resort character dining. And if you are staying where there is a meal like that, that's huge. That's amazing. What a great way to start your morning and not have to worry about how you're going to get there.
Absolutely.
And then if you're not looking for a character meal, there's also just other delicious food. So Boma is one of my very favorite meals. That's at Animal Kingdom Lodge. We have all more than once enjoyed Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary. Grand Floridian has fine dining and delicious food as well, but they all still have the quick service options. My kids are always happy. There's cheese pizza and Mickey waffles. So it has a much wider range of food between quick service and deluxe that's going to feed everyone and feed everyone happily. And there's also great bars, unique themed bars at these resorts. If that's something that's important to you, Trader Sam's over at the Poly, Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian, and I've already mentioned some other places. We love the lounge at Steakhouse 71. So you're getting a lot more experience than just where you're laying your head.
Ooh, my hidden gem, right? So even if you're not staying at Grand Floridian, but you are, a little diehard Disney, a little princess, even if you're not all into them, go to Grand Floridian and go to the Photo Pass. You can hold the glass slipper at the Grand Floridian. I also met Lumiere there. He was sitting on my hand in a magic shot. You've got to go.
Yeah, that's true. Karla, have you ever done a resort magic shot?
No, but I'm not a huge Photo Pass person. Come on, you knew that. You set me up for that.
I did.
Could you even imagine me standing on the staircase with the glass slipper in my hand?
Could you imagine? We should make it our goal for you and I to get a photo together holding the glass slipper.
I'll be like on my bended knee, like putting it on you.
Yeah, we'll put that on our socials when we get that done, because that's like most unlikely photo to exist. Allie and Karla holding the glass slipper.
Oh my gosh.
I want to finish happy by just touching one more time on the pools. The pools at these deluxe resorts have, I already mentioned the best slides. Yacht and Beach Club has that sand bottom. Most, but not all of them, do have a 0 entry for your little ones. And the experience at these pools are just going to make your trip, your vacation way, way better. They just are. They're leveled up in every way you can possibly imagine. So I want to turn now to bashful. We've already talked a lot about this. I think the thing that people are bashful about, pricing and not understanding truly how it can be done, which we've already heavily discussed, and what added value is when you make the deluxe splurge.
be volume 2 of LJ's book. LJ wrote a book that's called Disney Within Reach, and her next book should be Deluxe Within Reach.
Yeah, exactly. It's there. Just like Disney feels unattainable, so does Deluxe. We've talked about the ways. And if you're still unsure, but you're thinking, hey, this sounds really appealing, and I do think I'd be getting more out of my vacation if I explored this option, please reach out to one of us or your Smart Moms travel agent if you already have one, because don't be bashful about staying Deluxe. It's possible, it's doable, and it's worth it. So let's close out the segments here with Grumpy. There's not much, honestly. One thing is to recognize the difference between the villas and the deluxe resorts or inns. The villas, which are that welcome home vibe, are going to be more like home, and they don't always have housekeeping every day. I think that's important to remember because people can arrive at their villa and be really surprised that they don't have daily housekeeping.
I agree, and I think that that's kind of a missed opportunity. But like, who would think that you'd be paying all that money and you don't have somebody coming in and making your bed? Is that petty of me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I enjoy a made bed.
I mean, we are kind of the people that leave the do not disturb sign on, honestly. Like, we don't have our room cleaned every day. So we stay in the villas most of the time, and it doesn't bother me because you can get the things you need. If you call and you say you want service, and if you call and say you need towels or refills or trash empty, things like that, they'll do it for you. And they do clean your room. It's not daily service. And then the availability. I'm grumpy that, the Polynesian does sell out quickly. So if you're not thinking about your trip far in advance, like we said, then you might be grumpy at what you're left with. The price point and dates may not be doable. And I think that's the trap, the rabbit hole that people fall down when they think deluxe isn't doable. That's usually why, because availability shifts quickly and you have to be able to plan.
And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, the hidden Mickey, of course, because it's my favorite, is Polynesian.
And the pricing fluctuations for me sometimes just absolutely kill me. And honestly, it's not just with deluxe. Like, I've seen Coronado at like $1,200 a night, and I'm thinking, like, who in their right mind is paying $1,200 a night? And it's the same. Like, every now and then I'll look on the website and it'll be like $2,300 a night at the Contemporary. And again, it's just like there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, obviously it's probably somewhat supply and demand, so I guess that's the rhyme and the reason. But it bothers me. It makes me grumpy because I do feel like, that one time that somebody thought that maybe Disney Deluxe was in reach, and then they look and then they see that price and it like is an immediate turnoff. It would be for anybody.
That is what people feel is the norm, and it's not. That's the irregular that makes us grumpy, but it's all doable. It can all happen. All right. We have really covered it all: locations, views, amenities, experiences, food, types of rooms, the whole spread on why Deluxe is worth it and how it pays you back. Please, please do not get stuck in that bashful mindset that Deluxe can't happen, and be sure to talk to your Smart Moms travel agent about how you can make it work for your family, because I would challenge almost every listener and say that it could happen. We are going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap it up.
Hey, it's Becki from Smart Moms Podcast. So you keep hearing this word, Disney bounding, but maybe you don't know quite what it means. Or maybe you're already a Disney bounder and love showcasing your Disney fandom in the parks. Either way, come join us on Facebook at the Disney Bounding Community by Smart Moms Travel. We play games, plan outfits, do giveaways and challenges, and support each other in adding just a little bit of pixie dust to both your Disney vacations as well as your day-to-day. Find the link in the show notes, and I hope to see you soon in the Disney Bounding Community Facebook group.
Hey y'all, it's LJ, and this is the fairest segment of them all. And today we are talking about deluxe resorts, one of my favorite topics. I think you should really think about staying deluxe if you can swing it. My absolute most favorite deluxe resort is Beach Club. Now, Beach Club and Yacht Club, they are literally connected to each other. They're right there. The only thing that's different about them is their decor. I feel like Beach Club wins because of the pool. It's an entire experience to stay there, and they have a 3-acre water park, not just a pool. They have a giant water slide. They have a small water slide. They have a beach pool with sand bottom. They have a pool that is, set up for volleyball and playing around. They have adult only area. They have a lazy river, all of that. And it's just like a normal part of the resort. There's no fees or anything like that. And then I promised I would tell you about the first time I ever stayed deluxe. If you've been listening, you know that I stayed off property for my first 15 trips before I even tried on property once. I only stayed on property that time to like be able to argue that yes, offsite is better. It's hilarious. I was completely won over. It was incredible. It was Wilderness Lodge. And I remember feeling like, oh, I understand this now. Like, I see why people do this and spend this extra money, because this has completely changed the vacation. We were so comfortable, like, to spend time in our room, to spend time at our resort, to just be in spaces around, the pool and the lobby and just relaxing in different areas. If you're around the value resorts, like, they can empty out in the morning while everybody goes to the park, and then you don't see the people coming back until later on. But at deluxe resorts, people really enjoy their resort a lot more. And it's a very different vacation. And if you can find it in the budget, I highly recommend that you stay deluxe. And here's a little list of the places that I feel like are really worth the money for where they are and the other features. So obviously Beach Club. I think Boardwalk belongs on this list as well, because it's less expensive than Beach Club, and it's still like in that Epcot area, which is a really great area. I also love the Grand Floridian. I feel like it's worth the money. I like Contemporary. I love being able to walk to Magic Kingdom, and you can walk from Grand Floridian and Contemporary to Magic Kingdom, which is incredible. I love Animal Kingdom. Not great with transportation, but being able to see the animals and watch out your window and just, see the savannah there. I hope you can get some pricing on that and see if it will work for your trip.
Hey, hold up. Looking for the ultimate Disney and Universal experience? What about vacations on both the West and East Coasts? Look no further, it's Christine, one of your podcast co-hosts that'll take you along on my coast-to-coast adventures like never before. Come follow along on Instagram at the Polyjuice Princess, your go-to source for all things Disney and Universal. From the iconic castle at Disney to the thrilling rides at Universal Studios, I've got you covered. Shoot me a DM with the word podcast to receive exclusive content for my followers. See you real soon.
Hitting the lightning lane as it pertains to deluxe resort stays. Girls, are you ready?
We are ready.
Ready.
Haley, Beach Club or Boardwalk?
Beach Club, hands down for the pool.
Karla, Poly or Grand?
Polly.
Okay. Haley, Contemporary or Wilderness Lodge?
Wilderness Lodge, due to the recent trip. Y'all have sold me on it.
Karla, Old Key West or Saratoga Springs?
Saratoga Springs.
Haley, Riviera or Yacht Club?
Ooh, Riviera.
Karla, would you rather do a 1-bedroom villa at Old Key West or a studio at the Boardwalk?
Studio at the Boardwalk.
What about Karla, Animal Kingdom Lodge or Wilderness Lodge?
Wilderness Lodge.
Haley, favorite deluxe quick service food at a deluxe resort?
Primo at Riviera is hands down amazing.
The best.
Love that one. Love Captain Cook's as well. Karla, favorite deluxe sit-down meal?
Gosh, I just went to Topolino's, so that's kind of top of my dinner. I feel like everybody always goes for the breakfast character meal, but I went for dinner during golden hour, and it was amazing.
What about an overrated deluxe resort meal? Haley.
Ooh, shady. What'd you
gonna
say?
go with, Chef Mickey, because I would prefer Topolino's over Chef Mickey.
Yeah, I agree. I also think Ohana dinner wasn't my favorite.
Oh, and there's no characters.
Yeah.
No, but it is cute that you can see the fireworks and the guy playing the ukulele.
The guy playing the ukulele was awesome, but the food was just okay, and I'd rather watch the fireworks from the beach. Okay, last one, both of you. Karla first. Favorite deluxe resort?
I'm going to go with the Beach Club.
Haley, same question.
Mine's no secret. Animal Kingdom Lodge, Savannah View at Kidani.
For sure. And mine, of course, Theme Park View at the Polynesian. Cannot beat it. Close second, Yacht and Beach Club. Almost tied That is going to do it for us on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. If you're planning, looking at planning, or ready to start planning again, and you don't already have a Smart Moms travel agent, be sure to check out the link in our bio or show notes to get connected with a free Smart Moms agent. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts. And please share this podcast with your Disney-loving friends, or maybe somebody you want to give a hint to that it's time for you to take your next Disney vacation. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast. And until next time, we will see you real soon.